project, guys. How you doing? Well, it's taken a while, but finally time to get this AMA underway. As you know, I've been taking questions over the last week or so, and I have gotten some good ones. Now, I will not be answering them in any particular order, so if it takes a little bit of time to get to yours, please be patient. And now let's see what we've got here. Decisions. Okay. I'm going to give the first one. Okay, Mario, just for you, I will give you the first question. Here's a fun one. After 3M gets dismantled by Orion, will you send him get well cookies? Maybe. Although I wouldn't put it past Valentine to slip some X-Lax in with the chocolate chips. Oh, okay. I knew this one was coming. We'll ask this question twice, so I am going to answer it twice. He wants to know, why is Tim a dick? Well, in all honesty, I really don't know. You'd have to ask him. But just for asking, I have a little something special for you, Will.
Move to the head.
And because you asked for it twice,
move to the head.
I hope that answered your question properly. Okay. Next one up. This one's coming from Sam. What inspires you to write? Well, that's easy. Some good music on the headphones, enough caffeine in the system, a walk beforehand to get some ideas in the head, and with the right combination, the words just start flowing. And yeah, that's actually about it. Let's see, what else have we got here? Okay. We've got one from Brandon. Top 3 regrets in my time in shoot. Number 1, joining the hierarchy. And I'll explain why later. Number 2, branching out when I was trying to get my writing groove back. Although that period gave birth to Malice and it brought Valentine to shoot, so I guess it wasn't all that bad. And finally, I'm sure some of you will agree with this, getting involved with the GEA. That was a train wreck waiting to happen. And now my top 3 favorite moments. This was a lot easier, because these were the fun ones. There have been a lot of them. Trying to narrow it down to 3, that was a bit of a tough challenge. But I'd have to say, in no particular order, winning the Rule of Surrender title, my first and only championship in shoot to date, but of course that will change. Number 2, seeing Valentine Lionheart in shoot after spending months trying to talk him into coming over. And finally, last but not least, seeing shoot recognized as a top 10 EFED on Rough Cut. That moment when I saw that, I felt so much pride in shoot, because it wasn't just one person's effort, it was everybody working together. We finally got the recognition, and that one had to rank up there. Okay, next up, we've got a couple from Tim. This should be fun. Are you excited to watch me defeat William Q. Santa in fantasy football this year?
Move to the head.
Does that answer your question? Favorite shoot project title division and why? And I can't choose the Orion title. Okay, well, considering Orion isn't exactly a title division, although it is my favorite title, I'll be nice here. If I had to pick one off the top of my head, I'd have to say Rule of Surrender, the only one I've actually held the title in. Although, all the other ones are right close behind. There isn't a single bad division. Tag team needs to be built up a little more, but it's getting there. I'd like to see the Iron Fist built up a little more, but I'm sure that's coming. Sin City, well, that one's always been going strong. And the world title picture, well, or should I say the shoot title picture, I'm just waiting for the Primus. Okay, next one is from Jer. What inspired you to create the Orion stable? Well, it was actually right around the time that Valentine was making plans to come to shoot. We'd been talking back and forth about ideas and a possible alliance, and somehow it turned into Malice joining the group as well and making us a trio. As to how we came up with the name, your guess is as good as mine. I can't remember that far back. Let's see. Next one. Got one from Mario. Has anybody in particular helped you become a better writer in shoot? If so, who and why or how? Well, I can't single one or two people out because everyone has had an equal hand in as far as I'm concerned. Everyone has helped me to become a better writer. Which leads into the next question. How in my eyes has my writing progressed since first starting? It's definitely made me better. Before shoot, the story took a backseat to the trash, and since coming here, I've learned to appreciate the story a lot more and really bring out the balance. And next up, 3 dream matches including all of the characters I handle, including Leona. Well, for Leona, after getting mauled by Tanya, I have a feeling it might be a while before she gets back into the ring. For Mason, that's a toughie. So many that I would say here I've already gone against. Oh man. If I had to pick one, jeez. I'd say it would probably be a toss-up between either Donovan King or Lunatic Crippler. And as for Malice, there's one guy I would love to see Malice go up against because I think the role plays would just be phenomenal, and that is Sammy Rochester. Put the monster against the man-child. I think the role plays coming out of that they'd be creepy, but damn, they would be fun. And what can I say? Let's make it happen sometime down the road. Next up. From Will. Is Piper Fury dead? Nope. She's alive and well and keeping a very close eye on shoot when she's not defending her title in the cage. Orion always makes sure that she's got a prime ticket to the shows when she asks. Will she get back into the ring? Well, never say never. That's all I'm gonna say to that. Wow, we're getting through these pretty quick. This could wind up being a short show. Okay, I've got one from Mirage. After 3M dismantles Orion, how long before you're the guy out front of the shoot epicenter handing out call girl leaflets? Really? Do you honestly think that, well, for starters, that 3M is actually going to be able to take Orion out? And second, do you really think that Mason would lower himself to a job that the Mexicans are already good at. So to answer that question, well, let me put it this way.
Boot to the head.
There we go. Enough said. Sorry, Mirage, but you earned that one. Oh boy. Holy cow, we're really getting here. Okay, this one's coming from Jer. How did the idea for Malice come about? Well, I wanted to go old school. Back in the days when you had a manager do all the talking, the wrestler just kept quiet and kicked ass in the ring. It's not something you see much of anymore, and I've always had the itch to see whether or not I could actually pull it off. I tried it for the first time in a previous Fed, and the reaction was really positive. At first I wasn't sure I could bring it to Shoot, but apparently he's still around, so I guess I must be doing something right. Oh, here's a good one. Any characters on the roster that you could see being a good fit within Orion? No restrictions. Well, there's a couple that I can think of. One guy that comes to mind is Dan Stein. I mean, could you imagine his ego being bolstered with the kind of backup that Orion would provide? Another that I could see being a good fit with Orion, and this might surprise some of you, but I would have to say, oh my god, I can't believe I am saying this. Ooh, you know what, Sam? Those are a couple of good possibilities. Mephisto is one that he's one that I have been considering, but another one is Kronos Diamante. I mean, lately I've just been seeing something inside him, and apparently a couple of weeks ago Leona saw kind of the same thing, because she went and had a little Sub Rosa meeting with Kronos. Yeah, bet you didn't think Mason knew about that, did ya? Mason knows all. Alrighty, okay. From Brandon again. What is one innovation you'd like to see implemented in Shoot Project that you don't see that often in the E-Fed world? Yeah, I see you rolling your eyes there, Mario. And my answer would have to be an in-character recap show. Interviews with the talent to help them put over their storylines, give the character a little more exposure, and for visitors to the site, give them a bit of a summary as to what happened on the shows, in case they can't find the results, or they just really don't have the time to go through our results. I'm not saying that in a negative way, because our results are just so goddamn epic. but they also take a while to get through. Oh, yo, yes, we see you. Yeah, exactly, kind of like WWE backstage stuff. That if we did something like that here in Shoot, I think it would be great. I've seen it done in other Feds, and it's worked really, really well. I think we just have to find somebody that would be willing to take the time to put something like that together. But it most definitely could be done. Yeah, you volunteer him, and he's probably not even listening, so he probably has no idea what you're volunteering him for. Boy, nice guy. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a break for a couple of minutes here. Gotta go answer the call and grab some ice cold dew. Yes, this AMA is brought to you not only by Orion, but by Mountain Dew. Do the Dew Dudes. I will talk to you in a couple of quick moments. And in the meantime, Much better. Much better. Okay, now we come to part 2. And apparently Will wants to know if I've answered his questions already. Well, I know for a fact I've answered at least 1 or 2 of them. Let's go back here and see which ones he asked. Yes, I know I'm an old fart. Sometimes I suffer from a case of CRS. Can't remember shit. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Oh. Okay. You're asking about Piper Fury. She is not dead. She is very much alive and still attending shows. Will she come back into the ring? Quite possibly. I believe, never say never. If the demand is there, she'll be here. If not, well. And as to the question, why is Tim a dick? Yes. So the answer to this bears repeating. And since you asked it twice, I will answer you twice.
Boot to the head. Boot to the head.
And of course, well, now you know. I saved that just for you, Will. I certainly hope I answered your question to your satisfaction. Yeah, so do I. It's classic. It truly is. Well, what were you expecting, Will? Come on. Hey! At least I answered the question about Piper. That was a good one. As for why is Tim a dick, how the hell would I know? You'd have to ask him. Yes, I did. And I am proud of that. So now, moving on, because I still have quite a few good questions here. And let's see, and you know what? I don't think they're. Oh wait. Yeah, there might be one or two more boots being given out before the night's over. Oh, ouch! Sick burn. Okay, this one's from Mario. Who are some of your favorites to read? Well, let's see. John Grisham, Tom Clancy, Dan Brown, Robert Ludlum, Stephen King, George R.R. Martin. Oh wait, you meant in shoot? Whoops. My bad. Oh man. Donovan King's always been one of my faves. Intragian, oh man. When his stuff goes up, I just have to read. And Valentine. I have been a fan of Valentine's since day one. Since I first ran into him. But to ask something like this, I mean, there isn't really anybody that I don't like to read, because there are just so many solid writers in this fed. There really are no weak links. Yes, as sex, I remember that. Okay. Next one on tap. And this one's coming from Sam. Shoot is now the third fed that we have RP'd in together. The other two closed and didn't last very long. Why do you think the other two feds failed to deliver in comparison to Shoot? Well, Zoo War's easy. The reason that one failed can be summed up in 2 words. Jace Chaos. RPW, that was a case of a group coming in and pretty much dictating how things were going to go down. Management let the inmates run the asylum, and I really think that led to the downward spiral. there was a lot of OOC drama. Things were getting really cliquish, and I kind of figured after you and I left that the place was going to go completely downhill. And turns out I was right. Well, we both were right. Now, has the creation of Orion changed anything for you as a handler? Yeah, I would say so, mainly because Mason and Malice have so many stories to tell, and I feel like the surface has just been scratched. It's going to be fun down the line trying to intertwining those stories, but it's very doable, and I'm actually looking forward to it. And of course, having another creative genius working with me on the Orion story doesn't hurt either. Let's see. Okay. Tim asks, why Jason Statham as a pick base? For some reason, he just fit. I think I wrote out the first character development story for Mason. I started reading it back, and for some strange and unknown reason, his was the image that just seemed to pop out at me. I don't know, I can't remember if I was watching one of his movies before I wrote it or what, but you know what? You're absolutely right. I think we do still need to go into that connection. I know I alluded to it earlier in role plays, and I think we definitely should revisit that, because that right there could be one hell of a story arc for Orion. And then Tim asks, how did I come up with the idea for the Mason Pierce character? Oh man, how did I come up with that? I think the idea popped into my head while I was watching Burn Notice. To be completely and brutally honest with you, no, I was not drunk. As a matter of fact, I haven't touched a drop of alcohol in almost 12 years now, so couldn't have been drunk. But yeah, I think it was after watching a marathon of Burn Notice. I was thinking, what would happen if the Michael Weston character suddenly became a wrestler? The things that go through my brain, and it just seemed to work. I saw someone in another Fed actually tried to copy the Michael Weston character almost verbatim, and he completely and utterly blew it. Sam, you might remember, because he was in RPW just before we left. I think he lasted maybe one or two matches and then took off. Never heard from again. Probably because he wasn't very good. There was nothing original about him. At least I tried. Thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated. Okay, next one up. Oh yes, I am good. I'm very, very good. Alright, let's see here. What do I have? Okay. This is an interesting one from Brandon. Think back. Yep, that was his name. That was it right there. I remember. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay. Okay, Brandon's question. Think back. It's Mason in the hierarchy. Did that go the way you wanted it to? And if not, how would you rather have had it go? Well, you guys remember how one of the first things I said as my regrets was the hierarchy. Well, nothing about that angle went the way it should have. And I think that's mostly because MJ wanted the hierarchy to be primarily about Excalibur, and everybody else was pretty much peripheral. I mean, I had a lot of ideas, but they just wound up being discarded. I mean, I was trying. I wanted to get Mason and Piper more involved with the hierarchy, but MJ wouldn't have any of it because he felt that the focus would be taken off of him. My plan was basically to have Mason and Piper become more involved in the affairs of the group, like actually use Mason as the problem solver for the hierarchy. But unfortunately, that idea kind of got vetoed, and so I just sucked it up and dealt with it. Personally, when it was all over, I was happy. Unfortunately, it also kind of led to Mason Pierce going face, which, as we all know, didn't exactly work out too well. But you learn, you deal with it, and you move on. Let's see, what do we have next? From Will. 3 dream matches, not including my own characters. This is a tough one, because so many matches we've already seen, or I've seen since being here. One that I haven't seen yet, and Will, you're gonna love this one. It's El Aso Wipo versus Silas in an I Quit match. We are gonna get that mute to talk. Either that, or he's going to make El Aso Wipo say, I quit! And the loser leaves Vermont. Next one, Sammy Rochester versus Jester Smiles in a cell. Ooh, that one would be nasty, but it would be so much fun. And as for the third, oh man, oh, there's so many potential combinations. Honestly, boy, let me think here. Damn, is that why I smell smoke? Okay, third dream match. Damn, I have been racking my brain trying to come up with this one. Off the top of my head, I would have to say... yeah, that and the Mountain Dew hasn't kicked in yet. One that I think would be interesting would be Jerry Matthews and Solomon Richards. You've got 2 guys that base themselves kind of in a religious / face text. Put those 2 together. I think the role plays coming out of that would be interesting, provided Trey would show up. But there you go. What do we have next? Okay, I have one from Mr. OD, Other Dave. And his question is, would you in fact request people call you Handsome Rob? Wow. What can I say?
Boot to the head.
Actually, for that reference, he deserves another.
Boot to the head.
As much as I love The Italian Job, great movie, and I think Handsome Rob is one of his best was one of his better characters, I would not go there. I will not go there. That question is now done. Let's move on. What would the ultimate angle or feud be for Mason Pierce, Malice, or Leona? This is coming from Mario again. You've given me some good ones tonight, Mario. Something to think about. First of all, Leona's probably not going to be getting back into the ring anytime soon. You've actually probably got a better chance of hitting the Powerball than seeing Leona back into the ring. So we can put that to bed pretty quick. As for the other 2, oh man. Wow. That's a tough one. So many options. I think one thing I'd really like to see is a good feud develop around the Orion title. Someone breaks through and does the seemingly impossible, actually gets the title away from Orion, and then deals with the group's efforts to get said title back into their possession. Do it right, it could wind up bringing others into the story, with each one taking a side in the matter. Next thing you know, we have a Shoot Survivor Series match for the Orion title. Hey, it could happen. Ah, it's Mario. Is that better for you, Scotty? Yes, I know. I have a crappy Italian accent. That's horrible. Yeah, well, hey, I'm Canadian. I'm not Italian, so sue me. Yes, yes, Mario. I know it's fucking horrible. I will admit it. But hey, he asked for it, so hey. Yeah, well, you're. Oh man, yeah, that is pretty bad. If I'm trying to speak in an Italian accent, I sound like I'm from the Highlands. That's pretty rough. Okay. Who would you like to see feud with Orion? Either in singles division or tag team. This is coming from Jer. That's a name I can't screw up. Although if I could, I'd probably try to. Ah, man. Okay. I think down the line, a full-blown Orion Scar feud would be something to behold. I don't know. At some point down the line, I'd like to try that. Put Scar against Orion, just to see who would come out on top. Man, it would get very messy. But you have to admit it would make for some awfully entertaining results. Now, for singles, there's a lot of guys out there that I would really love to see work with Orion. One that I've actually been talking to is Jagi, or however the hell you pronounce his name. He's shown a lot of promise. He's actually had discussions with me about working with Orion, possibly after the pay-per-view, and I think it would be interesting. And yes, Kronos, you'll be getting your rematch with Mason down the road. So before you start asking about where you fit in, and yes, I knew you were going to. You see, Mason knows all. Oh, yes, you were. Okay. This is another one from the M Dude. You see, I'm not gonna mess your name up again. I'm gonna refer to you as the M Dude from here on in. So, I got my shit covered. If there was one person you could go into an all-out blood feud with right now, who and why? Oh, damn, man. Well, I guess what I probably want to ask is, with which character? Yes, you do come with the good questions. Oh, man. Oh, that's harsh. Doesn't matter. Well, let's see. As I stated earlier, we can strike Leona. So that leaves Mason and Malice. I think. Ooh. I think I'd probably have to go with one of the feuds I mentioned earlier. That I think would just be absolutely brutal, but at the same time I think would make for a hell of a feud, and that would be Malice and Sammy Rochester. The Man-Child and the Monster. Both of them being manipulated and sent to war with each other, I think would just be phenomenal. So I hope that answers your question right there. Holy cow. I am now down to the final question. Wow, where did the time go? I actually saved this one for last because this is probably the toughest question to answer. Because it kind of goes back to a bit of a dark place. So after this one, if anybody has any questions in the chat, feel free to post them and I will get to them. This last question, which was surprisingly the first one asked, is from Josh. And he asks, would you speak in depth about why you were considering leaving last year and ultimately what convinced you to stay? That one kind of hit me out of left field. Why I was considering leaving last year? Oh boy. There were a lot of factors involved. I'll say that right now. There's not one specific thing. I was in the middle of, well, just about a year-long losing streak in shoot. And I'm not gonna lie, when you lose pretty much every match over the course of an entire year, even though you know you're busting your ass every week to post, I'm not gonna lie, it degrades the confidence. It really does. And I'm not gonna make excuses, it did for me. That and the fact that things were going really slow in shoot. I think the general morale was dropping, and I think a lot of people were feeling kind of down. Me, I think I was probably feeling it more than a lot of others because I've been sticking around, and no matter what I did, it just never seemed like enough. I think that's when I was probably taking the wins-loss record a little more seriously than I probably should have. And ultimately, what convinced me to stay? Well, there's a lot of things that convinced me to stay. One of them is right here in the chat. A guy by the name of Valentine Lionheart. When he finally told me that he was planning to come to shoot, I thought, man, I can't leave now. Not after all the work I've gone through to get him here. So that was definitely a factor. Another one was I looked at the Fed, saw where it was going, and I asked myself one question. Could I walk away from this tomorrow with absolutely no regrets? And the more I thought about it, the more I could not bring myself to say yes to that. because I knew that I was going to miss the camaraderie, the friendships that I've built through shoot. I'd miss a lot of the good times, and any fed that I'd go to, if I even went back to it, wouldn't be nearly as competitive and nearly as epic a shoot. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up people's ass. I'm telling you straight the truth. Because I have been in a lot of feds over my years, and this is actually the one I've spent the most time in. I mean, my God, it's been, well, this month will be just over 2 years that I've been a part of shoot. And if I left here, it would be because I just gave up, and I would probably retire from fedding altogether. And since I haven't done that, I'm actually moving forward. Well, needless to say, I'm a shoot soldier for a long time to come. And much to the chagrin of some people, Orion is not going anywhere. To quote Mason Pierce, you're welcome. And now with that, I'm going to take a short break for a few moments, and I'm going to give you guys a chance, in the event that you do feel so inclined, to come up with any questions that you might want to ask. And I will get to them. So let's go into some more kick-ass tunage here. A little bit of the Death Dealer, and come up with some questions, guys. And if not, then we'll end this bad boy.
There's nowhere to hide. I'm alone. Will face my
haven't been any new questions. So, if no one has anything else to ask, then I suppose we will call this one a night. It has been fun. Oh, wait a second. Thank you. Okay, here we go. The creation of Orion has really picked things up for you. Not just for wins, but also for the content of your work, both in RPs and the storylines on the shows. Why do you think that is? Well, I think it's because I found my fire again. I really can't say much more than that. I've just with Orion, I feel I've just tapped into a new source. I'm becoming a little more creative. I guess having to write for two characters, that tends to happen. It also helps that I have a lot of I've had the privilege of working with a lot of really good people, and I'm confident that that's going to continue, because I know there's a lot of guys that have stated that they want to work with Orion, and I'll be happy to do that, honestly. I don't know, but as for why things have picked up, I think maybe it's just I'm starting to have fun again, and I'm remembering why I got into e-fetting in the first place. I got over that hump, and it's renewed my confidence. I just hope that answers it for you. Anybody else? Yeah, exactly. I hit my groove. Thank you. Any more questions, people? Is anybody else even still listening? I'm wondering if I didn't scare them all off with the Death Dealer. Well, if no one has anything else, it's just coming on the top of the hour, so I will call this a night. I went to grab a drink, and as it turns out, they're gonna miss their shot. Well, for those of you who listen to this live, and for those of you who are going to be catching this on the replay, because I will be at least attempting to upload this to YouTube, thanks a lot for giving it a listen. Hopefully you learned what you wanted to, and for those of you who asked me questions, I want to thank you for that, and hopefully I answered them to your satisfaction. I know for a couple of people that's probably not the case. And you know who you are. So for those people, I have but one thing to say.
Boot to the head.
You're welcome. Thank you, good night, and big balls.